Hey guys, John Engel here, and today is a day that we're going to work on the BMW behind me, and the reason why I'm excited, it's not my car, which means if I don't get it done, I get to go home anyway. Alright, let's get started. Alright guys, so you might be wondering what we're doing today, and on Ryan's BMW, he noticed that the suspension was not riding like it was supposed to, so he went out and bought a full Bilstein set. It's got all new shocks, struts, springs, but that works. So this will allow you to adjust the ride height as well?
Yes, it's ride height adjustable. You've got, this is the rear, and it's all very well aluminum machined. Actually, that might be steel. The front is all the same. We've got a similar mechanism here, and that will allow us to get, I think it said 30 to 50 millimeters of
travel.
Ride height adjustment.
I guess the next thing to do is to get these on, and we're going to start in the rear because we think that's going to be easier. Yeah, nothing's easy. So right now we're just taking out the carpeting in the trunk. We've removed already the little side holder, and then there are some just compression fittings that you just pop out the top button and then they come right out. Really nicely done, much better than those Christmas trees that you normally see holding interiors on, that every time you use them you have to get new ones. These you should be able to reuse, so BMW, thank you. Alright, so we removed the carpeting altogether because we were having a fun time with this part, and as you can see, I'm going to zoom in right here, we have a 16 millimeter nut and then this star piece, which I think is a 6, but we're having trouble finding something. You have to have an open wrench so that you can get it on this nut with the top open so that you can then put either a socket or something to hold this, so as you loosen, this holds still. That's a challenge. On the top of the shock, it's a 6 millimeter socket that goes right over there to hold it in place, and then a 16 millimeter wrench that actually removes the nut. You do have to have both, because if you try to undo the nut, it just turns the whole thing. So we've got both of those on here, and now we'll undo this shock. Alright, once you undo it, it becomes hand loose and tight. Take that off, and now we go down to the bottom, where we've got to remove the bolt for the shock. And under here, you will see, right here is a 17 millimeter bolt. Now this time we're not going to hold here, but we can actually hold on the shock itself right there. So we just put a wrench around here and go up through the bottom with the 17 millimeter, take that off.
So you simply just have to
compress the shock.
Compress the shock. And it should be that easy.
It should be. Shock is out. Alright, once we took the nut off of the top of the shock and then the bottom, the shock comes out super easy. So that's no problem at all. Now we've got to get the spring out. And to do that, we've got to get some bolts loosened. You can see we've got a socket on this one where this one comes out, and then the one over there has to be loosened to allow that to go down. Now, the big thing that you need to make sure that you do is to put a jack to support that control arm, because if you don't do that and you take that bolt off, that spring is under compression and will throw it down. So you want to make sure that you have safety first. So we're going to go ahead and take off that bolt, loosen that bolt, and then we'll show you the spring coming out. There you go.
Nope.
Yep, needed a little bit more tension on there actually.
Alright. So that should be ready to come down.
Yep. Well, that was less dramatic than I thought it was going to be.
That's a good thing.
So do you think that it's just going to pop right out now?
It should. Yeah, you can see there's really not a whole lot of tension on that at this point. I can pretty much move this up and down.
Yeah.
It's this part that we're...
Right, but I was expecting it to... Did you loosen the other nut enough?
Yes.
Okay. Oh yeah, there we go.
That's what we were expecting.
That's what I wanted.
And it's just under its own weight now.
All right. So now we shall do the reverse of the process. Put a new spring in, put a new shock in, and then hopefully... Okay, so what you're taking a look at now is the actual coilover sitting against the frame. Now, you will notice that Ryan is holding the old spring perch, which has to be removed. Do not forget to do this. All right, now that the rear is done, it's time to start on the front. And as you can tell, we've got one mount over here, got a strut tower brace, got a mount over here with a strut tower brace. So these braces need to come off so that we can access everything that we need there. To do that, we'll take these bolts off, and then there's a bolt up in there that you take off and then they slide out. So we're gonna go ahead and get that done right now. With the strut towers removed, we can now move on to the actual wheels themselves. And what we're working on now is we're going to remove the rotor and the caliper assembly so that we can get access to that strut, and also it'll allow us to put the A-arm down and not put any tension on the brake line or any of the other systems that are there. So we are going to work on that right now. Ryan, what size was the bolt?
18.
18 millimeter. Now that the rotor is out of the way, we've got our caliper hanging using some zip ties over here, which will keep that out. We do need to take off all the accessories, which are here and here, and then we will be able to take out the actual strut. All right, I've got Ryan already working on the passenger side, and he is taking off those bolts as we speak. All right, we're getting ready to use what we're going to call the strut spreader tool, and you can see it's an oval shaped, and you put it between and then turn it so it widens out the space. I'm going to show you actually where this gets used, but this is one of the specialized tools that if you don't have can make your job even more difficult. Hopefully this works its magic. So it basically, while it's up and down, will fit into the slot, and then as you tighten it, it'll turn and widen the gap to release the strut. That is theoretical. Oh, look at that. So now we'll release it from the top and we should be good to go. So we were able to go in and loosen the control arm there and there, so those two spots, and then this has been unbolted from the top and kind of just pressing down on it, and Ryan is pulling this bad boy out. You do notice that we taped it off just because those are getting pretty close. And now, whoops, still in. There we go. Should pull out. Do you need me to put down the camera and start helping?
Yeah, what I need.
Alright, now we use the spring compressor on the old one, and basically what we're trying to do is get this carrier off of there, which will allow it to turn and be smooth. So this will then go on here on our new one, and that's what we need the spring compressor for. So we're working on that right now. After using the spring compressor and getting everything back together, we put the new strut in. Now, we did have a little bit of an issue over here. You can see that we put some grease on there to help it slide in. The tool that we used that spreads it in the back was good, but we needed a little bit more. The Bilstein seemed to be a little thicker than the OEM one, so we had to spread it just a little bit more to get it in there. And now we're going to use the weight of the car to make sure that it seats in there correctly, and pretty much do that for both sides, and we're done. Well, I ran out of time over at Ryan's house. The good thing is we got everything buttoned up, and now it's just the reverse of basically what we've done. Hopefully you liked the video. If so, hit subscribe, like, leave me some comments below. I know you BMW guys love to leave me comments. Anyway, we'll catch you next time.